welcome to another review from American Outback ADV. Today we're going to be talking about some camp furniture, chairs to be exact. There are many different options on the market. It's a little confusing, and I've personally gone through 3 different camp chairs. We'll be talking about each one today, from low budget to the higher end, the higher scale of things, and I will let you know what I like about each one and what I don't like about each one. The first chair we're going to be talking about is the Marchway chair. I picked this one up on Amazon. It was 25 bucks. It's one of the smaller chairs that I've carried. It comes in just a hair over 1 pound on the scales, and I like the chair for the size, the compactness, and the price, but I do not care for the chair when it comes to the durability and the comfort. It is not a comfortable chair. I've sat around campfires with it on multiple occasions, and it never felt quite sturdy enough, and honestly the materials that it's made out of could use a little help. But at $25, it's understandable. It's not going to be at the higher end of the range. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how long it takes to set it up and the process to So let's talk about the Marchway chair a bit. So it is lightweight. It does have a mesh back for breathability, which is nice when it's hot outside and you want a little breathability on your back and your thighs. The one thing that I do not like about this chair is how narrow it is, and there's really nowhere to put your elbows. So when you're seated, your elbows don't have anywhere to rest, and it's kind of awkward because you're sitting in here and you don't know if your elbows should be sitting on the edge or if they should be hanging off the side. There is a little pocket here for storage, which is fine, but I personally wish it had a cup holder. When I first got it, I just wanted a cup holder. I love cups I love chairs that have cup holders built in. As far as the construction goes, it is lightweight aluminum tubing. They are constructed, or they are held in place by elastic lines here that pull it into place. That makes it easy to put together, but I don't like that the mounting hardware, the joining hardware is all plastic. All of the structural joints are plastic, and they just don't feel very sturdy when you're sitting in it. In fact, the chair tends to wobble and move around in an unsteady manner when you are sitting in it. So this is the Marchway chair. It does fit in most 8 adventure panniers or motorcycle panniers, which is why I bought it in the first place. I wanted something that would fit in my bag or in my top box, and I could take on the road with me without taking up a whole lot of space. So next we're going to talk about some other mid-price options. The second chair we're going to be reviewing is the REI Flex Lite Camp Boss. I picked this up as a step up from the Marchway. I was tired of the uncomfortable seating position of the Marchway. REI is right up the street from me, so I rolled in to see what they had, and I found this at $79.95. Seemed like a good deal. It's a little bit larger. The pack-up size is larger. We can see here in comparison to the Marchway. Not a whole lot bigger, but bigger nonetheless. It does come in about a pound heavier than the Marchway, so keep that in mind if you are weight conscious. So this is the REI Flex Lite Boss camp chair. This was the second chair I picked up. I was looking for something a little bit more comfortable than the Marchway Amazon chair, and this seemed to be a good fit. It is comfortable. It's a little bit bulky in the gear. As we can see, the poles are all a little bit heavier duty, but still plastic. I really dislike the plastic hardware. I don't know how long it's going to last. I'm afraid that if I set it in on a rock and it slips off the rock, the pressure might break it. And I don't want to risk getting stuck out on a trip in the middle of nowhere, not having a chair or somewhere to sit at the end of the night. It does attach the same way as the Marchway with elastic lines. There are nice big rubber feet. I do like this feature of this chair in comparison to the Marchway. That is nice to know that it does have a little bit more solid of a base. It's wider, and this chair doesn't rock back and forth as you sit in it. This chair unfortunately does not have any storage. There is no bag to keep any of your personal belongings, your phone or a drink off of the ground. You can see here there is no storage, but that is the REI camp chair. It does retail for $79.95 at the store. I think this is a great mid-level chair. I would prefer this over the Marchway any day. The next chair we're going to be reviewing is the Big Agnes Mica Basin Armchair. This is a top-of-the-line chair. Comes in at $169.95. It is worth every penny in my opinion. It is lightweight. It's slightly lighter than the REI. It is more compact than the REI. So it does fold up smaller. It does pack up smaller. The zipper system of this bag is much easier to pack up than the stuff sack design of the REI. So the REI has a top load stuff sack. The Big Agnes has a side load zip seal. The materials, everything about this chair is much better, and I'll show you why. All right, this is the Big Agnes Mica Basin Armchair. This by far is my favorite chair. It's a little bit more difficult to set up, and I'll get into that in a second. But this thing is full of features. It has multiple cup holders. You can put your phone. You can put a cold beverage after a hard day on the trail in this armrest. It has wide armrests, so you can comfortably spread out and put your arms out. You don't feel confined. You don't feel squeezed in. The material is breathable. It's very lightweight. This chair weighs the same, right around 2 pounds, as the REI option. However, it does come in at a higher price point. This bad boy will set you back $169.95. That is significantly more, but I think it's worth every dollar. And let me show you why. So the connections, all of the joints are aluminum, and they are all metal. I have no fears of this chair failing on me in the field. They do pull together with the elastic cords. But there is one thing that does slow down the progress when you're putting it together, just a little bit, but not too much. And that is each one of these poles is keyed, so it cannot rotate. And that really helps put this thing together because of the different angles. You're not wasting time spinning the tube around trying to find the proper location. By using the keying, it allows the tube to fall in place perfectly every time. Next up, we have 3 mounts for the chair on each side. That's a total of 6 mounts in comparison to the other chairs that we reviewed that use 4 mounts. and that gives it a very, very sturdy feel. In fact, I've taken this on the beach, I've taken this to the desert, I've sat in sandy conditions, and yes, it will sink a little bit. It doesn't have quite as big a feet as the REI, but it is very, very stable. I highly recommend this chair. This is my go-to chair. I have 2 of these now. They're lightweight, they're very high quality, and I cannot recommend it enough. Now here we have the Marchway chair and the REI chair side by side. We can clearly see the size difference between these 2 chairs. The Marchway chair being much smaller with a mesh back, hence the 1 pound difference in weight, versus the REI that's wider and made out of a heavier canvas. Comfort wise, I would go with the REI. This was something that I felt was hard to gauge when I ordered this chair on Amazon. I could not gauge the comfort or the size of this chair just by the photos alone. In fact, I was expecting the chair to be closer to this size. I have a little bit broader shoulders, and so I found this chair a little bit uncomfortable and doable in a pinch, but definitely not my go-to chair. All right, so now that we got all these chairs put together, I wanted to give you a side-by-side look at each one and how they compare shape-wise. So here we have the REI version, and we have the Big Agnes chair. Now, the REI follows along the same suit as the Marchway chair, that it has 4 points, versus the Big Agnes that has 6 points. Now, the key to comfort, the wide armrest. The REI chair, it is wider, but it still maintains that square shape, which makes it a little uncomfortable still, versus the Big Agnes that flares out, gives it a nice hexagonal shape with the cup holder. One of the reasons I really prefer the Big Agnes chair. So today we talked about 3 different options with camp chairs. One very low priced option, the Marchway off of Amazon.com. The mid-level option, the REI camp chair. And high-end option, the Big Agnes mica basin armchair, which I highly recommend. So hopefully this helps you make a decision when it comes time to purchase your next piece of adventure gear. Get out there and have some fun.